They gotta start performing, and they're gonna try to do it on Infernal Shrines.
Bring it back. They need to bring it back. Yep, it is Infernal Shrines. Okay, so there's a... I mean, it could be an Illidan map, but at some point the A-team also needs to let go. At this point, it's no surprise anymore. They spoiled it for everyone by picking it every single series since the playoffs.
Well, here is going to be the Maiev ban. Very reasonable, very sensible.
True, Olede played a really solid... Bruiser played a really solid Maiev the other day. Very lethal.
And there's the Genji ban by the A-team. We're sticking normal bans, nothing out of the ordinary until it was the thing that nearly made them lose, so acceptable.
You know what? I don't hate it. First of all, you basically make sure that under no circumstances can you lose to this Lucky Punch Illidan pick. And secondly, you're also kind of putting Bruiser into this situation where he's not fully, at least, in his comfort zone. Of course, he's a really awesome player. He knows many heroes to perfection almost. But Illidan shall not be his go-to pick this time.
White Mane removed, another hero the A-team have been using pretty often, but banning it away from CE this time.
Okay, that's already super solid. 365 is an amazing Alexstrasza player, and hey, is the best battleground for her, hands down. Can't go wrong with that.
But what is the counter? Well, there's no counter to Alexstrasza other than healing denial and AoE to try and annoy on the abundance.
Yep.
What I meant to say was, what is the response? You're going to see the Diablo for that little bit of extra aggression, and they don't want to get banned out of the other good support that's left. Gekka Kayn gets removed.
Seems good. Now, if the A-team packs a Junkrat on top of that, I'm going to be very, very happy. You know, not only will they have healing reduction then coming in from the Emerald Cube, but they will also have a lot of knockbacks with that Concussion Mine if there's ever an Abundance Circle, for example. Also the great AoE damage coming in from the Riptire when everybody groups up to get that Dragon healing. I wouldn't hate that, to be honest.
Neither would I. We're going to see a Reyna coming out. So they've already got a fair amount of damage output with some good slows to empower the Ace in the Hole already.
Mm-hmm. Now, ban-wise, is there anything that you don't want to give over to CE? I don't really think so. Maybe a Thrall ban, because XTQ has played a lot of that in the past pretty well as well. Okay, what?
Junkrat.
Why would they be the ones banning it? What?
I mean, there's still a second damage dealer needed for CE. So they're trying to remove some wave clear while also removing some disruption. So I assume they want to play something that they don't want disrupted. Question is, what would that be? That could be another melee. Someone who they don't want to just get denied on the positioning. Medivh is very sensible. Phoenix.
Now they need more slowing if Diablo won't be able to get all that slowing in with the Lightning Breath himself.
Malthael is acceptable in terms of heroes that could be annoyed by Junkrat. Good Concussion Mine is going to deny him a lot of healing, so this is all fine.
Good laner. Irel is still available. It's pretty much an even lane. You can send a ranged hero, or you can go for Thrall and Blaze. There we go. XTQ playing his comfort pick there as well. Super solid. The Blaze, of course, is amazing versus Malthael if he goes last rites. And even if he doesn't, it's still great. For those of you wondering why I'm saying this, if you can dodge a last rites by just hopping into the bunker and waiting for the effect to expire.
And you can. And what is the final pickup? A Hanzo. So very standard draft by the A-team. This is fine. No issue with that one at all.
Yeah, the Junkrat bend was still a little weird. I'm going to stick to that. But hey, everything else looks pretty solid. I'm not too unhappy with that. Hanzo Phoenix. That's not necessarily a lot of burst damage, but still super good to control shrines, right? Let's see if they can do it.
And so, with Hanzo Phoenix, it is solid damage, like we said. The Thrall is decent poke. In terms of Shrine Clear, I think I'd still give it to the A-team, but I'm still concerned about the survivability. The Gekka Kayn's pretty reasonable, Diablo's pretty reasonable.
Yeah. So a lot of it comes down to execution, right? The moment the Dragon Queen is being used, there needs to be an Emerald Cube sometime when the AoE healing is about to kick in.
Yeah.
Then also with a Diablo, you know, combo with Phoenix, if they time that well, it's going to be amazing. So yeah, the tools are there for the A-team, right? They just need to use them well and in timely cohesion. With CE, though, I think they have a really stable roster, though. A really stable composition. Thrall self-healing, Alex Strasser is amazing, Blaze Bunker. It's going to be so hard to lock someone down when there's always this one defensive tool that could potentially save people.
But is that are the tools going to be effective? As we see the game beginning to start. We're heading into game number 2 of this best of 2, this 2-game series. CE versus the A-team. Very solid area control from CE, the A-team. Potential wombo combo. Which one's going to work out in their favor as we head in?
And we're heading in, ladies and gentlemen. We see the two teams fighting each other yet again on Infernal Shrines. It is CE with a Luful, XTQ, 365 KTY, and Juyu.
On the right-hand side, it is the A-team with Jaina, Olele, Bruiser, Stugos, and Yeetskook.
And there's a lot on the line here, actually, for both teams. The A-team really need any point they can find, right? They are not too far behind to the other teams, but they're starting to lose ground. Whereas CE, if they didn't get this point here right now, or this win, they too lose a little bit of ground to teams that have already won today. Like, let's say, BTG or SBT or the One.
Yeah, again, CE currently only on 5 points. If they win, they'll move to 3rd. If they don't, then they'll just end up tied with, they will get a single point, they'll end up tied with the One, which is not what they want to be, because the One are tough, and they will likely get some more points very soon.
Alright, can't get Tamty onto Bruiser. Dodges is a little bit and ends up surviving.
That was very close. Good escape there, keeping alive, at least for the moment. Able to back up. So Lele clears out minions in the bot lane, he's gone for Scatter Arrow builds. Seeing the Soul Shield for the coming in for Diablo, and another Exterminator for Reyna. This seems to be the pick on this map just because of the AoE burst.
Yeah, I don't think I've seen any other Reyna player picking Exterminator as often as a Luful does. So it may also been just you know, a personal preference of his, because he's made so many good experiences with that wave clear, with that shrine clear. So I can't fault him for that. His Reyna has been pretty dope overall. But once again, man, that escape earlier by Bruiser, so nice to see with that juke on the Stormbolt. Beautiful healing, getting those auto attacks instead of just running blindly. It's just really solid mechanical, you know, play.
He's good. A little bit forward there. He is going to be able to survive as a Luful burns through him pretty quick. As he is able to back up, though, so that is good news.
A-team. Solid right now. They're going for Mercenaries in the bottom. No kill has happened up to this point. Muradin, though, he's already, you know, hiding in one of those bushes, trying to either gank somebody or interrupt a rotation, or help an ally in need, which is currently Raynor. Luful is going to be able to finish Diablo. They don't even need the Raynor. They do it all by themselves here. Strong showing. Diablo, despite using the Soul Shield at level 1, not enough damage mitigation to actually punch through or tank through the Hanzo Thrall.
Yeah, he's going to go wrecked there. Just completely taken out. As he is forced to respawn, come back to his team. He's now got level 4, so he's going to be able to gain souls all the quicker.
Okay, Jada does something really interesting here on the Phoenix. He tries to go for this mercenary camp all by himself, but Phoenix normally can't do that. No. Just no.
Just no, indeed.
At least he's keeping it, you know, he's keeping it in fight for Malthael to arrive. Probably has to go to back, has to go back to base ASAP though.
Yeah, Bruiser though. Bruiser will go back to base as well, as he's likely going to need health and mana after the camp. You see fight or flight for Reyna, so he's going to be much harder for Diablo to engage on, unless Diablo can keep him stun locked.
So, you know, Jaina on the Phoenix has by now recovered all of his HP because of potions by Deckard Cain, and the shields, of course, building up automatically. So it's not really the worst thing in the world, but Malthael also took a lot of beating. That's why he's currently not in the best of shapes. KTY, though, speaking of heroes who are in trouble right now, getting healed. No Emerald Cube just yet.
Dragon Queen being used, zoning out the rest of the A-team. Zuyu pulls back. Good scatter arrow. The A-Team chasing down Jaina on that Phoenix.
Nice.
Able to do a little bit of damage, but not enough to secure the camp. And CE grabbed the first punish shot.
Yeah, that was an important one as well for CE. Look at Zhui here on the Muradin, trying to close in the distance, trying to zone the enemy teams away for as long as possible so that Raynor, Lufel, and 365 can unleash all that damage onto the towers. One is falling, the second one is falling in cohesion there as well. Already everybody's back in lane. Also kudos to KT1 in that place, immediately rotating to the top lane and dealing with that fallen Shaman camp.
Doing 55, took a lot of damage, but it's a Lufel who is the target. Decent body blocks, and Yeetskook perfect positioning, and a Lufel will go down.
Yep, down he goes. Very close call, though, also for Yeetskook. If Raynor maybe had fought back a little sooner, if Zuyu had been a little more audacious, maybe they could have taken him down. But then again, there's Decker Kane, who's got potion after potion after potion. And so, yeah, it was good they disengaged after all, I guess.
Quite so. As such, though, we do see the quick defense, Jaina burning through the minion, burning through the mercenary camp, getting some pressure of his own. We are seeing also the defensive talent of the Incinerator Gauntlets coming in for Blaze. That's going to help him clear out the lanes if the A-Team get any push going. And of course, better on the Shrine for more AoE.
Yep, more AoE it is, and Yeetskook is about to get flanked here by KTY, who's already setting up something. Nope, it is actually the Phoenix who's the focus target primary, but they can't lock him down. Yeetskook coming back in there as well. Olele in trouble. He's going to have to chug a couple of potions there. Stugas is so busy running out of mana, running out of potions, and down goes Dibbles yet again.
Taken out, nicely executed here by CE. Looking for more. KTY, though, charging too far.
Yeah.
Gets it to the abundance, but not before he dies, and the healing does not go off.
And you could really see how patient Bruiser was playing this as well on Malthael, right? He was there, didn't show himself, though, didn't reveal himself yet. And only when CE got a little too greedy, he threw down the shade, and he got the lowest HP target. And without the bunker to really protect him up to this point, that was all she wrote for Blaze. So in the end, a 1-for-1 trade. A very close game overall, all things combined.
Indeed it is. 2 kills to 2. But I think most of the kills for the A-Team have encountered have come at the misplay of CE. So yeah. CE just need to tighten it up a bit, and they're going to be looking a lot better as this game moves on. Camp taken in the bot lane by Olele, though, and Yeetskook with Stukos, as they are going to try and push in this bot lane at least a little bit more.
Yep, the next Infernal Shrine, by the way, is going to unlock in the top lane, so being able to maybe deal a little bit of extra damage there before the Shrine unlocks would be very much desirable. That's exactly why CE is currently taking the Shaman camp. Maybe they can escort it all the way and maybe take it down a tower or two. Or are they actually going to wait? Oh, never mind, Bruiser. He sniffed it out and he's stealing it with great confidence.
His team wasn't even there yet. They just believed they were there. It's the confidence, like you said, that he moved in with that guaranteed that for him. Very nicely done.
And he just did it in style as well, you know, on a pale horse. Maybe it was too fast for CE to even notice what's going on. But sometimes, man, bluffing in Heroes of the Storm is a thing. If you just go in confidently enough, the enemy team is going to back down. Also keep in mind that level 10 was there a little bit earlier for CE, but it was not there in time to actually contest this.
And so, we see the bot lane, we see this right-hand side getting cleared up, and they're going to try and get this Fallen Shaman to assist them in the push into CE. They have everything except for Diablo's Heroic, because he's not picked it yet, finally picking up the Lightning Breath. They begin moving forward. They have the Salvo, so I don't know why he would have picked the Apocalypse here. Tormented Souls, though, also available for Bruiser if he wants to try and move in. He has the anti-heal as well, so we'd love to try and get CE all grouped up, but right now they're playing very cautiously around him.
Minion Wave and Mercenaries are dealing a little bit of extra pressure onto CE. They're going to have to fall back here. KTY and Judy, they need to be so careful. There's a shredding Malphite. Look at KTY actually getting nailed down and slammed on by the Diablo. Does have the bunker, though. It's going to keep him safe for now.
Salvo denied by the knock. Oh no, what's denied? Lupul gets taken out here as Yeetskook also dropped very low, but the Tormented Soul shreds everyone. Zhuyu barely able to escape.
And Tetra, quite frankly, I don't understand why Zhuyu and why KTY even went that deep. You could really see how the Mercenaries and the Minions were pushing back the backline of CE because they needed to clear that. So your team was so split, they were just asking. They were begging to get initiated on by Yeetskook, who basically rammed them into the wall, and then they had to use a Panic Bunker. They weren't able to diminish all that damage from the Salvo. They find that kill on Jaina, though. Consolation prize. Yep, that fort is definitely going to fall.
Not bad there. So we see the push in. They do need to move up and actually attack with the Punisher to get that board. CE are in position to try and defend this. The bot fort, like you said, already taking a lot of damage. Minion Wave arrives to defend it. Malthael moves down, though, to attempt to defend it a little bit more efficiently. And top 4 survives.
Wow, it survives because the A-team is not determined enough, I would say, to basically enforce it. They decided that it was time to go back, you know, refill their mana and health bars, deal with other lanes, try to get a little bit of extra experience in there, so they will have 13 a little bit sooner. It's an okay move, but you really have to be careful. Like, this happened to RPG earlier so many times where they won objectives, but they didn't do anything with it. And then they lost this one objective in the late game, and guess what? The enemy team got as much value, even more value, than all the previous objectives combined.
Exactly. So now, Jaina pinging away at the backline minions, already doing a reasonable amount of wave clear for his team, trying to gain them some ground as the camp is taken. With Abundance, though, complete. The Gift of Life coming in for Alexstrasza, so now Globes, more mana regen for the team.
Yep, here we go. Diablo scouting the perimeter, just wants to make sure that no invade is going to happen here, while his teammates were doing the mercenary camp. 13 is ever so close here right now. It has arrived for the A-team up to this point. What are we going to see here? Nothing out of the ordinary, really. Ancient Blessings coming in for Decker Kane again, which is definitely going to be good for the Phoenix and the Hanzo.
Definitely will be good indeed. Juyu holding the line for the moment. It's going to dwarf toss away, though, not get himself caught out.
When is CE deciding to initiate a team fight? They've got so many great tools to do so. Most importantly, the Sundering. Most importantly, the Muradin to jump in. But they need 13, right? Here it is. Brawl is going to get some extra self-sustain here now. Muradin healing static. Life unbound for Alexstrasza. They're really just trying to out-heal them, out-sustain them in those longer drawn-out fights.
Stukos clears out the lane. This is a very calmer game outside of very few intense moments. Yep. Sundering, though, speaking of intense moments. And immediately no follow-up. See, not able to gain the position.
See what happened here? A minion actually caught the Stormbolt by Juyu. Unfortunately, XDQ thought that the Stormbolt would connect, and that's why he immediately dropped the Sundering as a CC chain initiation. But since the minion actually intercepted it, it was all doomed to fail. So somebody give a promotion, a medal in hindsight to that minion. It basically kept A-team alive.
Which is good news for A-team as they're still ahead in experience right now. As Yeastcook sees Muradin, who's going to dive very deep. Stormbolt this time lands. Feral Spirit also. But the healing from Diablo and Stukov able to keep Yeastcook alive.
So good, man. Yeastcook, he's the indomitable spirit of the A-team right now. He just can't seem to be killed. Also, with all that healing available for CE, I'm a little bit worried because we have two sources of anti-healing for the A-team. Mouthveil, Touch of Death, and the Emerald Cube. So if they land those abilities without overlapping, they can really mess CE up.
See the damage output coming in. Good charge by CE, by KTY, but the Sundering, once again, they're not capitalizing on it. Finally, Olele is beginning to drop low. That might be the target they're going to be able to execute, but stay a while and listen. Lightning Breath immediately wakes everyone up as the Dark Arrow comes in. A good start as a Loophole gets taken out.
Beautifully set up there by Decker Kane. Was basically the launching signal for all of his other team members. Speaking of Muradin, by the way, he's no more. The A-team is powering and comboing through. If only they had played with a combo like this in game number 1, I think it could have been a completely different one. But as you're saying, Tetrick, there's nothing really CE can do, right? They're trying to make something happen, but then goes Stay a While and Listen, which is super cool to see here, by the way. No more Lornado here. And then look at that. Stay a While and Listen is about to drop, and then we're going to see all the other abilities coming in unison. Here goes Lightning Breath, Dragon's Arrow, and that's all she wrote for CE.
Well executed by A-team, able to sustain through CE long enough to force an engage, or at least make CE get a little bit desperate and try to make a far too risky play. And as such, it's going to be the A-team with yet another Punisher, and this time they have the people, they have the positioning, and now they can actually capitalize on an objective.
Yeah, and this time they really need to get some value done, and it looks like they're trying to do exactly that, right? Most of their heroic abilities, by the way, have already come off cooldown. That is the beauty of the combo of the A-team there as well. Don't get confused, by the way. The overlay is currently not showing. I'm pretty sure production is working on that. But yeah, that's the beauty of the combo of the A-Team, right? It's very easy to execute once Decker Kane catches a couple of people, and it has, most importantly, low cooldown. So even if you blow a combo, you're going to have it back in considerable amounts of time.
Yeah, that will not take too long to return at all. Zhuyu pulling back as well, but trying to front line. Dragon Arrow lands. Punisher onto Zhuyu, who gets focused down. Lightning Breath. Dwarf Toss interrupted by the Scroll of Sealing, but he still tanks through thanks to the Emerald, thanks to the Cleansing Blade.
Did you see that though? Normally that's a full HP Muradin. Like, he got so much healing, the healing static there as well, but because of the minus 50 healing debuff, he was actually brought down pretty low regardless, right? And that is the strength of the A-Team right now. They're trying to do the exact same thing again. Minus 75 now on Decker Kane. They kill XTQ, or are they? Yes, they do.
Salvo's interrupted. Stay a While's about to come back off cooldown as it was interrupted during the casting time in the last fight. It's a 1-0 in this fight as Stugos looks for positions. Once again, a good stay a while and listen. They could just absolutely kill yet another person here.
Even the Dragon Queen was used there, Tetcher, for 365. That means if the next shrine comes online relatively soon, they're not going to have it. But I think it's still going to take a while. So 365 probably calculated that into his movements. So not too bad for now. They get caught here again by Diablo. That might be a nightmare for them. Even Muradin is not safe necessarily.
365. Minus 75 healing at one point there thanks to the Emerald. Pulling back. He's already mostly back to full, and Abundance will come out behind the fort here to keep everyone alive once... no, actually it just looks like... Yeah, there we go.
Okay, no mercenaries are available, which is probably the reason why A-Team is still playing aggressively there as well. Phoenix is to safety, a nice 3-man sleep, and there goes the Doom. Oh my goodness, the bunkers lining up perfectly, Tetcher. The Lightning Breath is hitting everybody.
CE dropping low. XTQ, the fort slow, hitting Yeatscook here. He will get taken out, but XTQ will almost certainly die here.
Yep, and looks like 365 got too close to Thrall as well. Probably wanted to assist the former War Chief a little bit here. Alex Rasa, that is, but hey, that was a full team assassination coming in from the A-Team. While we still don't see them over the overlay, we're probably going to see them win this game. Bruiser tanking a couple of those shots. Decker Kane is going to bring him back up, and just like that, Tetcher, we got ourselves another draw.
1-1 coming in here, unless Alufal can put on quite the show, but he can't do it with 3 catapults here as well. That's going to be game, and the A-Team give us a 1-1 versus CE.
Great stuff coming in here for the A-Team. Not only did they regroup themselves, but they played it very solidly. Standard composition, well-known tools by now, totally in meta, but it looked to me like CE played against us for the first time.
It really did. They looked very shaky, but they were unable to do enough damage at any point to take down the A-Team. So as such, CE, they only gain a single point from this. They move up to be tied with the 1 moving into our next week. Whereas the A-Team, they move up to 5, creating a 3-point deficit between themselves and KT, which is still very good news.
Yeah, definitely great news for them. Now, Tetcher, I want to go into theory crafting here a little bit. Do you think that if the A-Team had played a standard comp like this in game 1, do you think they could have won?
Yes.
Yep.
No questions asked.
Yep. And well, that was less theory crafting than I expected.
Do you want to ask me the same question to RPG from game number 1 of their series?
Don't get back to RPG. I know you were so upset about it. Oh. No, it's true though. Like it's true, and this is actually shocking news to CE fans out there, right? That under normal circumstances, a team like A-Team could have maybe even 2-0'd them. At this point, I'm going to lean back and say that CE is not going to make it top 3, and they're not going to go to BlizzCon.
I'm going to agree. I don't think that there's too much question in that at the moment due to CE. They're just looking far too shaky.
Yeah, and at this point, you can't even put it on the new guy on XTQ too much anymore, right? His Thrall was actually okay here.
Yeah.
Zhuyu...
Sundered were on point. It was the follow-up on them that was bad.
Yeah, Zhuyu is just not having the best of days today on the tank role. Alufal looks pale in comparison to some of the other ranged assassins. It's just an all-around team issue that CE is currently struggling from, and it really is unusual, to say the least. So maybe their time is over as a team. You know, even the best of teams can always stick together. Maybe after this phase, they're going to make some severe changes to it. On the other hand, we have those really cool teams coming up. The A team, if they don't pick Zojin and Illidan, you know, they're looking really solid. Nonetheless, this second game really redeemed them a little bit to me.
Indeed, it was a well-executed draft, good team fights, very passive play that baited CE in several times, and they were able to play around that very well. 12 kills to 4 at the end of that, and they didn't lose a single thought.
That is correct. And if you looked at CE stats of the last 6 games they played, they now had 3 games out of 6 in which they weren't able to kill a single structure.
Well, Bruiser being pulled out as the MVP there for good reason. He was able to drop some great Tormented Souls. He was doing fantastic damage, especially in that top shrine fight, where he was really able to make the plays.
Like, watching this game from the very get-go, you could basically say, you know, this is going to be the game of Bruiser. Like, when he dodged that 3-man gank at level 1, right? Then coming back with those insane heals and good damage combos from Malthael. Like, this was definitely his show. It was good to see him back in action after having a rough game on Illidan in game 1.
Well then, well played by the A team. They will once again achieve a single point, which is good news for them, and they're going to be able to take that into next week, where they are going to have a much easier opponent. They have Team Nut as their Monday opponent.
Yeah, whenever you play against Team Nut, that is basically your chance to get a 3-pointer in there, because unfortunately for all the fans out there, Team Nut have yet to find their rhythm. The only team up to this point that we can kind of consider a farming team. Everyone else looks really darn solid at the moment. CE, unfortunately, not finding their groove either today. Yeah. Maybe they'll bounce back next week. And speaking of next week, Tetcher, we're going to be back with 3 more broadcasting days starting next Monday. We're going to move on to Tuesday and Wednesday.
And the Monday games are going to be pretty interesting. We start off with 4 seasons ago? Yeah, because we have a season every quarter. So yeah, our 4 season ago classic in the form of... Oh no, is that make it 6? BTG versus the 1 is what it is. Screw maths on stream. As we see, that is going to be our first game of the day. That should be really, really exciting. We then have the battle at the bottom of the table, Team Nut versus KT. Then we finally have SBT versus BTG, the only team BTG have yet to overcome. And then we move on to the 1 versus KT, Team Nut versus the aforementioned A team, and finally, at the very last game of that day, CE versus RPG. That's a pretty close matchup potentially if RPG are able to calm down a bit.
Yeah, that's the perfect way of describing it, man. If they calm down a little bit. You know what? I wouldn't even hate it if they tried to play this full-on aggression mode again. If only they can play it a little more cleanly. But here we go, guys. This is the final standings of today. From left to right, we see wins, draws, losses, points, and map score.
And you can see BTG are miles ahead. SBT are catching them up. And once again, that is a matchup for next week on Monday.
Yeah.
So we'll see how well they can do there. RPG, they got a 7. This is the highest they've been placed for a while now. And we're going to see those matchups again in the more visual format. Third game of the day, BTG versus SBT. BTG could be also have to play the 1. Potentially their 2 hardest opponents in a row. And then right at the end of the day, potentially the most exciting game, CE RPG.
Man, that's going to be one hell of a play day here. SBT against BTG and then CE against RPG. Lots of best of 2s to look forward to, Tetcher. But I think we have arrived at the end of this week. It has been an absolute pleasure to get back on the casting desk with you. Well, we're not really on the same desk, but both of us have the desk in front of us, right? So any final words to the viewers out there?
It's a really long desk.
It's a really long desk. There we go.
But other than, once again, thank you all very much for watching, ladies and gentlemen. Next week, we'll see if China can step it up even more and if they can all start to elevate the entire region together. Be sure to tune back in next week and be sure to check me and Kendrick out on our Twitter/Twitches. Thank you all very much for watching and see you all next time.
See you next time, guys. Until Monday.